Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Derek Invest. I'm your host, Derek Miller. What I'm going to talk about this week is there's a bunch of companies that are having earnings. You'll see them listed down here. We're only going to look at a couple of those. There's really not that much to look at there. I think we're going to take a look at Nike. We're going to take a look at Micron, but there's not really a lot there. I've listed them all, but I don't want you to get the wrong idea. A lot of those are just not in action. So to spice it up and actually make it a little more exciting than just those earnings, the companies producing earnings, we're going to look over some volatility stocks. We're going to look over some stocks that have really high short interest. We're going to look over some stocks that seem to be way oversold according to the 14-day moving average, some stocks that are way overbought according to the 14-day moving average, and one particular company that has really, really high option volume right now. So definitely in play. Let's get started now. I want you all to know I'm going to do I'm going to start teaching futures. I'm going to start educating people on futures. We're not just going to jump into futures though, where you don't know anything, and I'm moving at the speed of light because that's how fast futures move. I'm going to start teaching you how to look at those charts in a slower time frame and build you into how actually to become a futures trader. The things you need to look at when you're actually trading futures, because believe it or not, you can set levels and walk away. I know a lot of people tell you can't. Yeah, you can. You really, truly can. Now, it's a high leverage environment. It's a fast environment. So these are things that we have to take note of. And that's why with my one-on-one students, I always create their investment plan first that covers risk management, cash management, and investment management. Because once you can change you want. Okay, sorry, it looks like we lost connection, but it does look like we're back. So let's get started. Let's first look at Micron. Okay, take a look at Micron here. All right, MU. All right, so what we see with MU, I'm already on a 15-minute. Let me back out. Let's do a full analysis so you can see. So what we see with MU is obviously it has gone parabolic from 100 to 160 very, very quickly. Let's go to a weekly. All right, so automatically on a weekly chart, you say, hey, look, it needs to obviously come back and retest this high, right? So we can see that over the long term, 100's in play. It has to be, okay? We're going to eliminate that, and then we're going to move on to a daily. What does a daily tell us? We move on to our daily chart. It looks like we have a rather large gap here. This is at 102. Isn't it funny how that matched up? Where it took off, there's a large gap where it clearly looks like it needs to be revisited. Now we're also seeing a lot of volume over here at the high price we sit at right now. Okay. Now remember that this position is announcing earnings this week. So we really want to zoom in on this thing because we're still looking out daily. This is 12 to 18 months, folks. That's 12 to 18 months. Or it can be much quicker if momentum picks up. But when you look at a daily chart, you should be thinking, okay, this is 12 to 18 months from now. We're on a 4-hour chart. I'm sorry. So what's a 4-hour chart? It's probably not too far off from the 4 months that I said there initially. You're 6 months you're looking at, right? You're looking at 3 to 6 months. Momentum can pick up very, very quickly. As you can see, this gap up here at the high, it did fill on this 4-hour chart. That's a good thing. Gaps to highs, though, that fill is typically trend reversal. So you're looking right now going, hey, having seen that, now you're saying to yourself, is that a trend reversal? High volume at the high. High volume at the high. This is high volume after a gap down that looks like it's filled. So look at this. We had a gap up that is filled, right? You got the smallest bounce. Then it gaps down. That fills, and it looks like it is reversing. It's reversing on that gap. So we're starting to think, okay, the trend is actually looking down. So we need to be looking below us. We have an area here at, let's call that 136. All right. We are on a 30-minute chart. high volume, high volume. You do have high volume, which created a pretty significant bounce. I mean, from 135 to, what is that? High of 142.59 Friday in one day. Yeah, that matters, right? That matters. That's 3% move. Comes back up to test that high and pulls down. That matters as well. 15-minute chart. What do we see? Okay, did the gap fill? The gap did in fact fill, guys. So the gap is filled. Now we're seeing high volume at that gap price. We're looking down. What's below us? Probably about right here, right? So yeah, back down to that 135.5 mark. Go to a 5-minute chart. Now, when I look at this 5-minute chart, I'm looking for several things, okay? So I'm seeing a lot of volume in the background. What do I mean? There's a lot of trading activity. All volume means is there's a lot of trading activity, everybody. It simply means there's a high level, hey, trading view. Of course I didn't log in. I never do. $12.95 a month, $24.95 a month, and $49.95 a month. I always appreciate the fact that TradingView allows you to use the service when you're not even logged in. I don't do any live trading through TradingView at the moment, so I don't need to be logged in. I like teaching from here because I think it is very easy to utilize for education. I'll talk about the rest at another time. But so here we see a lot of volume in the background, and we see prices driving down. Now there's a lot of volume here, and prices rose, all right? Then at those same levels, there's a lot of volume, but it's at the high. So if we can zoom in on this just a bit more, I think we could go to 2 minutes, right? Or maybe it's 3 minutes. If we zoom in just a bit more, now look, remember, every chart is a new chart, okay? So now we rally, we lose complete interest in the price. There's definitely selling interest in the price here because price falls. Now here's your volume drying up. In Micron, there's not a lot of volume left. Let's zoom into the one. A lot of volume. There's some volume that creates a pop. This looks like it's going to have downward pressure. Now, how much downward pressure is there going to be before? Here, let's clear these drawings. How much downward pressure can there possibly be during earnings season? So we're at 15 minutes. How far can this go? What is a target for this thing? As you can see, I'm having to zoom out significantly because everything is filled. Now, a gap up and then a gap fill, if this rallied in price, would look really good. But it dropped. So what I'm going to say is this is a search for supply, and they found some. I'm going to say this is a search for supply, and they found some. So what we're now looking for is the upside, guys. What we want to know is what's the upside on this particular stock on earnings. You see, that's selling, buying. Doesn't look like there's a lot of supply down there. So I would say you're looking to the upside on this thing. You're probably looking right up here. You're probably, well, let's take it to right there. Let's call 147.89. So we can call this coming into earnings, which is, I have it written down. What is it, Thursday? I'll look. We're probably looking at 148. So let's get this done. MU 148. Today is what, the 24th? I do that pretty consistently, folks. I'll hit that. That rectangle is right there all the time. So this is today's date. And let's take a look at our target date because I honestly don't remember. Where is it here? What day do they announce? They announce Micron is on Wednesday, June 26th. There we go. That is that. I'm going to say this one. We're going to take a look at Nike too for earnings. It's just the other companies that are having earnings just don't have a lot of excitement to them. There's just not a lot to look at. There's not a lot to say. Even this, I'm really pressing to make something of this, guys. I want you to know that. This is not something I would probably play. I can see where it's going over a longer term time frame, which I like that. Don't give me look, I trade half of everything I do is long term, not short term. Nike looks really similar. You have this giant gap up here at 120. Does this need to fill? It looks like it's building momentum too. Let's back out. We always do things the right way, don't we? We were back out to our monthly. So Nike was at 180. It has some volume down here, nothing substantial at this 80 mark, 82, whatever that is, 1 week. Now, in this base, high volume, that's at a low price. This is high volume at a high price. This is probably buying. A lot of this is covering, selling. I would say you're looking at buying in here, buying again. You're looking at selling here. You're looking at buying here because prices rallied. So I would say there's probably more buying at these low prices in this range than there is selling. So I'd be looking at the upside at the moment. You bring it in, you can see why there was buying because there's a big gap right there. There's a gap from, what is this, 87 up to whatever this is, 97. That's pretty big. I mean, look, it's 12%. So it has filled that gap. It's a gap down that never filled. We're coming into earnings. Does it look like something's in play there? Outside of this little gap here so far, I would say, not incredibly. I want to look at Nike because I like Nike, and here you are. You're at a top. You're at an incredible level of resistance. Incredible level of resistance. You're at earnings call, which earnings are always a great way to move price. What do we see up here? A lot of volume. Is there a lot of volume up here? It's drying up. Yeah, I mean, you can see a lot of volume here at the lows, but there's a lot of volume at this high. I believe, when's Nike? Nike's Thursday, huh? I'm trying to give you something here. I know this is something people are playing. Building. I have to tell you. Building. Yeah, this is looking like it's to the downside. Where is it going to come to? Again, I'm pushing it here. I really am. Nothing. I'm not even commenting on this. Can't. Simply can't. There's just not enough here. If anything I say is just me, I mean, I know what I would do with this long term. There's not even a doubt about what I would do this thing. Like long term, this is a piece of cake. I'm playing this to the upside. All the way up here, I am. Let's go back to the weekly. Let me see. I know that it's really come off. Yeah. I'm playing this to 120. I mean, I just would be. Yeah. My first stop would be right here. 116. In fact, I'll say that. I mean, I have no problem with that. I'm not gonna call it for earnings as all. NKE 116. Oh, 116. We are at June 24th, 2024. You're going to say target date. What are we? We're June, so just say 12/1/2024. All right, let's get into some of these volatility stocks. They're going to be more fun. This was not very fun. I mean, it's not very fun. I mean, it's always educational. You learn something, which is great. You can go through these stocks. You know, like I tell everybody, I believe in a 50-50 mix, no matter how well you do, unless it's what you do professionally. And that is because a professional can go in and pull out. I mean, some of these derivatives guys can pull out 20% a day, and they're pretty insane. 10% a day, 5% a day, whatever it is. But you don't even have to shoot for that. If you paid attention to my most recent video, you realize that most of that is just not even necessary. Okay, let's take a look at options trading volume that's through the roof, okay? This is Barnes & Noble. Oh, there it is. Barnes & Noble Education. Options volume here is insane. Look at this. That's insane. That's so funny. Oh, my goodness gracious. The volume's so low on this, I don't know that I care. Oh, my gosh. This just popped up on my options volume screen, and I thought, let's take a look at it. But I have to tell you, we're not going to look at this. This is insanity. Hey, look, some people like gambling with their money. Like, they're gamblers. That's what they do, right? I look for things that have a much better. I look for things that are actually definable, right? I always want to define risk. If I'm not defining risk, I'm not interested. So these are overbought, right? So a lot of these are saying they're overbought. Now, that doesn't mean they're overbought. What that means is on the 14-day relative strength index, they're overbought. That does not actually mean they're overbought, but you can see why this happened, right? Look at that. Now, what are we going to do with this one? Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, my. I mean, from a long-term perspective, guys, what are we doing with this? We're shorting it. We're applying a long-term short. So first, let's just say this. Because there's no way you're not taking this. If you don't take this, I don't know what's wrong with you if you don't take this. You're taking this over the next 12. This is a 12-month outlook. INSM. You're looking at $32. It is 6/24/2024. It's a long-term play, so you're going out. Target date 6/24/2025. This is something for long-term money. Oh, and I got to go through and correct all this. That's okay. I should have done it out the gate. I know better. That is all right. Hey, I'm not perfect. You know what I mean? Let's see here. There we go. That looks good for now. Let's just take a picture of that. This is long term. We're going to zoom in, though, guys. I mean, this thing's in play, right? Let's zoom in. I love having long-term ups and downs. Like, I love looking at things that have downside and upside, because anybody that is in a rising trend market that's giving you upside targets all day, well, any idiot can do that. In a rising trend, of course, you're looking to the upside. Hello. But it's important to know where your downside is. We're going to have to come in tighter than this. All right. Let's take a look. So what you're seeing, oh my, yeah. So now you are seeing volume coming in at these high levels. I mean, this is 65. What's this? This is 62. This is the all-time. This is like the all-time high right here. So what are we going to do in the near future? Well, bare minimum, by the end of the week, you're looking here, right? Zoom in. Yeah, you're looking at 67.50 by Wednesday. '24, 2024. And so our target date is the 26th. Whoop. There you go. Boop. There you go. Let's go back to a daily, a monthly. Who's next? We're gonna do overbought again. WalkMe, WKME. What's going on with WalkMe? My goodness, look at that. Straight into a daily. How insanely overbought is it? And you're sitting at the highs there, yes? Come into 4 hours. What it did, hit the base, it rejected it. Lot of volume. 750 to 950. Boy, this thing really moved, huh? This thing really moved on earnings, too. 1 hour. Oh, wow. That's what earnings can do. Let's take a look. Let's keep going. You have to remember, this thing has come in, from 750. I mean, it's doubled so quickly. So let's get to a 30-minute. What's the price? What's the variable up here? It's not moving. Lot of volume initially. So lightly traded, though. Yeah, too lightly traded to play. Sorry, guys. Can't play that one. DIH Holdings, DHAI. Yeah, it's too, when something's too thinly traded, it's too easily manipulated. I just don't, I don't care. This is brand new, so I'm not gonna step into this either. There's no volume. I mean, you're looking at monthly volume of 1 million, 300,000, 200,000, 88,000. Like, we can't. I'm not interested. DLO. This is oversold, everybody. Let's take a look at some oversold stuff. That's got sold off pretty bad, huh? Woo, baby. My goodness. All right. One day. You really do need to get back up there. Based on earnings. I told you, I mean, earnings are used very, very consistently to dump or buy stock. Now, what you can see down here is the same thing. They're selling it off clearly. Let's keep zooming in. I mean, there's not a ton of volume here, but it can be enough. But there's no indication that anybody's picking this up yet. So it looks like it's just going to keep selling. I hate to be the bearer of bad news here, but if this were actually buying up here at 950, you wouldn't be at 730. That's more selling. This thing's, yeah, sorry, nothing here. This just looks like it's going to keep getting sold. ZNTL. Move into a weekly. Zentalis Pharmaceuticals, like infamous for crazy price moves and manipulation. It just is. It's not a judgment, it's a fact. Oh gosh, there's not enough trading here. Too easily manipulated, but this came down to what, 6 from here to 8. I mean, there's not a ton of volume here. I'm going to take a picture of this. Let's zoom in a little more. Tons down here. 438. I mean, you have a great risk reward here. I mean, look, you should see this again. ZNTL. Of what I say, 630. What's the target date here, guys? What do you think? Summertime. You have to realize that. This stuff, I mean, this can take a month, and that's when I'm going out. It can take a month. It's summer. Look, I think it's a humorous thing that summertime is a time that really does kind of slow down. But look, when you're a parent, you just go, yeah, I get it. Kids are home from school. Let me just be real clear about what this is first. This is an up. All right, let's take a picture of that. Okay, let's see. SRG, shorter sky. You know what? Let's okay, SRG. It's yeah. We'll look at it. We'll look at it. Still sky Phantom. Yeah, okay. Let's get rid of this. I want to see short interest to sky high. Let's take a look at SRG real quick. I just want to look. It's properties. SRG. Let's just see. Yeah, sorry, there's not enough volume here for me to. Well, let's jump into daily. Yeah, it's being sold though. Something's gonna have to happen. Someone's really gonna have to step in and buy. When's this? It's just more selling. There's just nothing to look at. I want to look at short interest to sky high. I want to look at Fathom Pharmaceuticals, PHAT, Fathom, PA-FAT. I definitely want to look at this. Short interest to sky high. Everyone's shorting this. That means it has the most potential for upside based on very little. Because what drives the market more than anything else? Short covering. You got it. Is that what's going on here? Ooh. I don't think so. They could pop it based on the short interest alone, but I can tell you this thing's been rejected. Heading into next week's action. We're going to look at this one again later. Not this week. We'll look at this over the weekend. Because if they suck it down to the bottom of this range, then yeah, they're gonna trounce some people. If not, that might not be the case. TR. Oh, Jiminy's. Oh, good. We're out. No, we're out of here. That's nothing. Let's take a look at the general market. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ. We'll do a quick evaluation of the NASDAQ while we're here. Let's see what we think. Let's jump back. We always zoom out. I don't need to go to monthly. I know we're not dealing with any level of economic event right now. Seasonality, volume's very normal. It has fallen off pretty significantly from where it was, which I wouldn't necessarily go so far as to say that that's normal seasonally. And last week was not a good week. That's a fact. Let's look at the daily here. Yeah, volume had picked up to the downside. You got 450 sitting right here, waiting for you. I have some lower targets in mind. Everybody knows that. But, you know, I think as we zoom in on this, let's get to an hour. So we're at 468. I think I called this last week anyway. What's the 30 minutes say? 30 minutes says it's selling. That's what it says. Let's go into a 15. And the reason you want to know this, guys, especially if you're in futures, you have to absolutely have like at least a 5-day outlook. I don't care if you don't play it for 5 days. I don't care if you play it tick by tick. You need to know where the pressure's at. Where is the pressure? Is the pressure on the downside or the upside? If the pressure's to the downside, at least you have a bias. So you don't get sucked in, because the one thing about doing futures, everybody, is you will get sucked into a 1-minute chart as if that's reality. It is reality in the moment, but the fact of the matter is, if you know you have a downside bias, you won't get caught with your pants down quite as easily. So if you were looking at this from a future standpoint, where do you think your first stops are going to be? Well, this is an interesting one right here because it already happened. All right. But the reality is what you're looking at here, and I have zero problem saying this. You're over the next month, that's where you're looking. So you're looking at QQQ. Just call 468. Yeah. 468. Okay. You have on what is it? 6/24/2024. The target date is 7/24. Even let's just say 7/31. Doesn't matter. 2024. It's still a ballsy call. We're in an uptrending market, and I'm calling to the downside. And I don't even know that it's ballsy as much as it's just accurate, and people won't like it. They'll like to ignore it. In an uptrending market, finding guys that will actually look to the downside, difficult. Why? Because it's real easy to be wrong. It's so easy to be wrong over the next month. It's unbelievable. Now, do I think I am? No, because I wouldn't post this if I thought I was wrong. My accuracy level's pretty darn high, long-term and short-term. There's a reason for that. I use a methodology that isn't based on what the hottest trend is. It's something that's been done for 100 years. It's how a market moves. All right, guys, I think that is enough market coverage for today. I am going to do my first free. I'm going to make it free. I'm going to do an intro to options trading and how to actually break down a chart or for futures. Intro to futures. I'm going to show you how to break down a chart and then how you speed that up if you're looking at futures. And just to show you, like I have futures going right now in an account where I can set some levels. And I'm actually practicing because I'm using the Dow. The Dow is actually $5 a tick, which is for a new guy, for someone who's new. It's really important because trying to play $50 and $500 a tick, you'll get hurt pretty darn fast. But when you're looking at the Dow and you do the minis, you can do $5. So you want to. That's why I'm choosing to use that anyway. All right, so I am going to. I'm going to jump off now. Let me just close up by saying that if you're not good up here, you're not good anywhere. Mind your mental health, everybody, right? If you're having a bad day, get out there and smile. Get in the sunshine. Do a little exercise. Fake it till you make it. Throw in a smile. Fake it till you make it. It works. If you don't have anyone to talk to, you can talk to me. I'll listen. My contact information is right here. There's my Twitter handle. There is my LinkedIn. My email, if you should need me. I do one-on-ones, and the real focus on the one-on-ones is to teach you how to actually invest and trade properly. But really, it's to set up what most people don't realize is to set up a proper financial and investment plan. You have to do that one-on-one because you have to cover the 3 pillars of investing in financial planning, which is investment management, risk management, and cash management. And that is very personal to everybody. And it doesn't have to take the time you think it does. So if you're interested, reach out to me. Other than that, it's been great. I'm going to set up an event either for tomorrow or Wednesday to do a free futures educational class. Hopefully I see a bunch of you there. I should. And if I don't have enough people sign up, I just won't do it. But I hope that I do, and I'm happy to do it for you. And this is going to be a way for you to actually get your feet wet, get your foot in the door, have someone explain things to you in a manner and that is slow enough where you know what's going on. Watching these guys trade live, I know if you're new, you have no idea what they're talking about. And some of those guys have no idea what they're talking about. But aside from that, that class will be very, very, very valuable, whether you trade futures or not, because again, this all translates. If you can do it on a monthly chart, you can do it on a futures chart. Tighter risk, much, much faster, and you have to switch levels very quickly. On a monthly chart, a weekly chart, a daily chart, you have time to make your adjustments. It's just time and speed. So I'm going to teach you how to read those charts. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. And I will see you tomorrow, Tuesday, 25th.